Hey guys, welcome back. We're super excited that you're joining us for another episode of Seeking God in the Wait with Travis and Johanna. And why did we call it Seeking God in the Wait? I think our story has been all about that. Right? It's been all about like, what are we going to do while we're waiting on that next big thing in life? And I mean, really, every single one of us are at that place where we're waiting for something. You know, if you're a little kid, what are you waiting for? You know, waiting for, next class or next high school or whatever it is. And once you're done with high school, what do? Waiting for college. And once you're done with college, what are you waiting for? Well, let's have a family and have kids. And when you have kids, you're like, okay, what's next? And what's next? And there's always something. So every single person that's watching this is waiting for something, whether you're actively waiting or just waiting for that next big thing. So in our story, we just want to talk a little bit about what we did and how we were just seeking God in the time that we were just waiting for those next big things in our life. So today what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about Johanna, because she's pretty awesome. So next part of our story is you going off to college. So why don't you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So after high school, I went to high school in Bermuda. Shout out to my Bermudians.
She didn't get lost in the triangle.
Well, I did for a couple of years and then I got out of it. But yes, so I went to college in Southern California and loved it. Went to a small Christian college, not small, probably medium-sized Christian college. So
you Bermuda, how did you end up in Southern California? Because that's like a big jump. Bermuda, California.
I wanted to study psychology, and I just got a reference from someone saying, hey, like, they have a great psychology course at Biola. And I was like, sweet, I have no idea, but I'll apply, and thankfully I got in, and I was headed to Southern California, and I just want to go to the beach all the time. So
that's a good reason. Well, you live by the beach in Bermuda.
I didn't want to leave the beach.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
good call.
I'm in Southern California, and I'm just loving my courses, loving my professors. I'm learning so much. Love my roommates and my friends that I'm making, and I'm just like, I don't know, it was just like opening up to a whole new world of all of these Christians. Like 5,000 Christians on one spot. It just seemed like almost like heaven. Yeah. Well, not quite, but it was amazing. I just was just soaking it all in. Yeah, loving my Christian school experience. I really got to learn a lot. I think that's where my walk with the Lord just got deeper and deeper as I was learning a lot more about Him, and especially in my Bible courses that I was taking, especially the Jesus Life and Ministry class. I think that was where I just got to know or got to learn more about who Jesus was and what He did, and as He was walking here on earth. Just His ministry and how that impacts us, as Christians and as disciples. So
you're going to a Christian college, right? And my understanding of Christian college is especially the one that you went to, is ring before spring, right? That's like the slogan. You go there, yes. The next big wait in life is, well, finding that person, right? So what was your experience with that?
Well, I got my ring before spring. No, just kidding. I didn't get my ring before spring. Got it way after spring.
Many moons later.
Yes, definitely. I mean, there was a lot of... I remember like going off to college and someone saying to my mom, oh, just wait. Like after the first semester, she'll be coming back with a boyfriend. And I think a lot of... there is a little bit of that pressure of like, in college, that's kind of where you find your person, and that's your, you're in that age, and you're surrounded with other people who think alike or who are on similar paths, and it's definitely interesting meeting a lot of different people, and quite a few of my friends, actually did meet their future spouses in college. I did not. obviously.
Thank God. So what you're telling me is all the guys that had the opportunity to chase after you and man up just were they unsuccessful or were there just no good catches?
No, it was, I think it just, just wasn't like nothing fitting. I think somehow that just wasn't the time, which I think was hard in a sense of, especially like your friends are getting engaged or dating and getting engaged, they're meeting people. And I think it's like in any phase of your life, if you feel like, there's at some point, a lot of your friends are just going to start dating and getting engaged and getting married. And it's usually that like beginning mid-20s, and you're going to wedding after wedding and just not meeting anyone, not meeting that person that you feel like you connect with and you could see a future with. It's hard. I think sometimes you feel a little left behind in that whole process.
So I have to ask, because the guy side of me, how are the guys in the Christian world? Were they, hey, like, I'm going to pursue, this is what I want? Or is it like very, like, they're just scared? Or, I mean, I know not every guy's the same and everything's different, but from your experience at a Christian college.
No, I think there were definitely some men who would pursue and ask you out on a cup of coffee. It's definitely the
Because you guys don't date.
We did. We weren't like crazy.
Let's have a date, coffee date.
Coffee date.
Yeah. Okay.
No, there's definitely people who would pursue, and
all of those guys are married.
They're all married. Yeah, I guess so.
Did you guys get that? So if you're interested, pursue.
Yes. But I think in college, like looking back, I think my biggest struggle was just my self-image, because that was a time where, I don't know, I think because you are a lot more interested in meeting someone, you kind of try to see, okay, how am I being viewed? How am I being seen? And the biggest, I think, mistake that I made, or that I think we make, especially as women, is comparison. So like comparing yourself with other girls and comparing yourself with other women. I think that is where I struggled with my lowest self-esteem.
So you're at a Christian college, so the struggle is real. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. Where's this struggle coming from? Is it peer pressure or what you're watching on TV, or? No,
I think just being around other people. Like, I think it's also that age where I was trying to figure out, like, who am I? What am I like? What am I interested in? But then also physically, just, just comparing myself with other girls.
Is it the freshman 20?
Freshman 15.
Freshman 15.
Thankfully not 20. Although.
You might want to explain what the freshman 15 is. You just put on 15 pounds because you're just in college and studying and eating and not sleeping, and I don't know. And the buffets are unlimited food. And anything that you want, whether you want Italian or Japanese,
you just take a big tray
just
and you
all
walk
there.
around and you get all the food you want to eat.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
It totally makes sense, and it's real. The struggle's real too. But I think it just, I don't know. I think it's just human nature, like comparing ourselves with other people, and. Yeah, like I said, I think that's where I struggled the most with my self-image, and I think like looking back, I realized how dangerous and how unhealthy comparison is. If it's like comparing yourself physically, comparing yourself intellectually, or even like achievements-wise, they're doing this, they're doing that, or they're getting married, or they're already having babies, or they're career-wise, or they have all these visions, or their personality is so cool and I'm just not that cool, or I think that was definitely the poison that I took and which made me, I don't know what I looked like on the outside, but I felt very insecure about who I was.
So, I mean, because I know you now, and I don't know of any of these struggles that you still battle with, because I mean, you're pretty awesome. But you've done something to get through it, to get to the point where you're at now.
Yeah.
So where does God come in when you know, seeking God in the wait and that?
I think, well, it probably was after college, like stepping away from that whole scene, and not focusing so much on myself and who am I and what am I like, and you know, why am I not dating anyone, or why am I not getting married? It was more of, okay, God, that's obviously not what you had for me during those years. I wasn't meant to find, you know, my partner. I wasn't meant to, you know, go that route. What is it you have for me? Like, what's your plan for me? And I think it was starting to focus on God, like getting more intimate in my relationship with him, and then also pursuing what he had for me. And not focusing so much on myself. I think when we start to focus on ourselves more, that's when we just get lost and discouraged and frustrated, and yeah, I think my focus had shifted onto him and my relationship with him.
So that comparison, pretty much when you're going through it, you really don't think about it because you're so focused on not having what that other person has, or they have something better, or whatever it is. So your mindset is like that, instead of,
it's more of the lacking. What am I lacking, or what's missing in my life, rather than what do I have, where am I going, what do you have for me, Lord? Yeah.
So your lesson was, instead of focusing on that person or even yourself, focus on God. And kind of take the eyes off yourself, because when we're so focused on ourselves, that's when all the mental destruction comes in of like, poor me, and you know, victim mentality and all that stuff.
And it was after college, I think it was a year or two after college, that I kind of reached a low point through some other just circumstantial struggles that I had, and where I felt like I had been kind of running from the Lord. I wasn't doing well. I just, you know, in some of my relationships, I was going through a really, really hard time. And at some point I just said, okay, Lord, I feel like I've been running from you internally. I've not been spending time with you. I've not been focusing on my relationship with you, but I want to come back. And I know that that's where it's in your presence, and it's being close to you. That's where I find peace. That's where I can rest, and that's where I'm supposed to be. That's where I'm home. And yeah, he met me where I was at. I had taken a short trip to Canada to visit my cousin. And I just said, God, you know, meet me there. Like, it was kind of like my date with him. And he did. He really did. He showed up, and he, you know, just, I think, like, he just embraced me in a really gentle way. I think just like the prodigal son. Not that I was super crazy, you know, running away and doing all these crazy things on the outside, but inwardly I was. And that's where he really met me and spoke to me and just showed me, hey, look, like, these are the things that you need to clean up in your life. These are the things that I have for you, you know, that's coming, and I love you. And he just, I just felt like he embraced me during that time. And that's where my love for him, I think, got renewed. And and that's I think after that point, that's when I stopped, you know, focusing so much on myself and more on, okay, God, you know, my relationship with him and just what he had for me. Yeah.
That was all after college, though, right? So how did you deal with this while you were in college? Did you turn to him? Did you seek him out? Or was it more of like trying to figure this out on your own? Or
I did and I didn't. I think it was like trying, and then I think I felt very distracted in college, to
All
be
those
really
cute
honest.
guys.
I think there was just so much happening. I loved my college years and they taught me a lot. But I think, I mean, the way that I kind of turn to the Lord often is through journaling. Like I think that helps me kind of focus on what I'm praying and what I'm seeking, to help me kind of focus my thoughts. So I definitely did do that in college, but I think it was, and like looking back, it was after college that I really, taking what I had learned in college and being really able to apply it to my life and to my spiritual walk. Yeah.
Perfect. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look right at the camera. And what would you tell girls that are in college right now as far as seeking God in the wait? How would that look? What would you say to them to inspire them to really just seek after God?
Yeah, if you're in college or you're that college age, the beginning 20s, they're not easy years in the sense of trying to figure out who you are, what you're like, fitting into who God designed you to be. And there is a big struggle of comparison. I think especially today. Back then we didn't really have social media. It was just starting. But today, like, social media is such a huge influence, and it's something that tells us what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to be like, how cool we're supposed to be, and everyone's profile just looks perfect and all put together, and that's not what life is about, and it's not what our lives look like or what we might look like. And I just want to encourage you, that's not what God has called us to look and act perfectly or according to what this world calls us to be. And God's called us to love Him and to love others and to love ourselves, and to have a purpose in His kingdom. And I just want to encourage you not to focus so much on yourself and being that perfect person, wonderful woman, the most desirable, the most flirty, but really to seek and pursue God, because that's what's truly attractive. And I think that's, the more we become like God, the more we seek Him, the more beautiful we become. Yeah, no matter what we look like on the outside, it's our hearts. That's the wellspring of life, and that's what's gonna affect us. That's what's gonna change us. That's what's gonna, just replenish our souls from what we see in the world. So, yeah.
Beautifully put. And here's one thing from a guy's perspective. This is why I love doing this, because it's guy's perspective, girl's perspective. Like, we can work together on encouraging people, like, and showing the other side of things, because a lot of times we're trying to do things on our own and trying to figure things out, but sometimes understanding the opposite sex, their understanding of things will really inspire us to be better in certain areas. Like, what is important? Well, like, if your ultimate end game is marriage, right? So what are we going to work on to become that person that's going to be not a perfect partner, but a great partner in that marriage? Union. That's the word I was looking for. Union. So, my encouragement to any women out there that are going through college is really just seek God, and seek God in the wait, but seek God, period, because the closer you get to God, the more He's going to transform you from the inside out, and that is what is super attractive to a Christian man. I don't say every man, because there's a lot of worldly guys out there that can care less if you're following Christ or not. But if you're looking for a godly guy, then become that godly woman. And again, the closer one is to Christ and the other's to Christ, the closer the two will become when they get married. So this is your formative years. These are the years that you're really just trying to figure things out. And I think that's awesome. But these are also the years in which you start to make decisions, right? Big decisions, where they can affect your life for the rest of your life, or for the better or for the worse. So I just want to encourage you guys, get in the Word. Really just start to understand who Christ is. And in that, just become more like God. Because when you do find that one guy that you're looking for, and he's doing the same thing, it's such a beautiful thing. And I can attest to facts. I found myself a good thing. So, and again, I don't know what she experienced when she was in college because I wasn't there, but I know who she is now. So what that tells me is all that transformation in between, point A and point B till the time I met her. And now it's like, it's amazing. Like, it's the greatest blessing in the world is marriage. One of the greatest blessings. So yeah, that's where we're going to take this one. Again, we're super excited that you guys are joining us on this journey as we're trying to figure things out and inspire you guys to continue to seek God in the wait. And next time, I'm going to tell about my story when I was that age. So this will be a lot more fun. Not that she wasn't fun. All right, guys, we love you guys.
Take care.
Take care.
See you next time.
Good job.
You said I wasn't fun.
I'm just kidding.